From SBI's Executive Briefing Center in Dallas, Texas, the most watched and listened to content in B2B sales and marketing, it's the SBI Podcast with your host, Matt Shares.
Welcome to SBI TV, a weekly show dedicated to helping you make your number. Today, we're going to explore the true meaning of customer experience. What a topic. I'm your host, Matt Shares. I'm the CEO of SBI. Joining us in the studio today is Brad Christian. Brad's the Chief Customer Officer of Market Force Information. Market Force serves multi-location businesses by providing a wide array of customer experience management solutions, analytics, and reporting technology. If you think about their solutions, they help clients protect their brand reputation, they delight them, and make them more money. So Brad, first off, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Matt. Great to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. So I think as a way of getting started, it would be great for you just to give the audience a little bit of a history lesson on you, kind of how you ended up in the CCO role, and then I'll have you talk about Market Force and what you do and how maybe the audience should think about you.
Sure. So obviously, Brad Christian, I'm our Chief Customer Officer, and have been with the company for about 13 years now and work with our existing clients, walking them through best practices and some of the innovations in the space, as well as responsibility for our new business development team in terms of acquiring additional new clients.
Great.
I work in our Atlanta, Georgia global headquarters office.
Okay. But then you guys are global as a company, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then if I was not familiar with Market Force, right? Where would I bump into your solutions? What would be an example where I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense?
So Market Force provides a variety of what we refer to as customer experience solutions. These are a variety of different measures that we use to help different brands evaluate how they're executing against customer expectations. And kind of our secret sauce and what makes us different is we have a large variety of those measures and then a sophisticated analytics process that allows us to tie the results from those measures to financial performance to help our clients really understand three critical things. One, what matters most to their customers? Where do they have gaps in execution? And ultimately, what's the financial ROI they can derive by taking on one initiative over another?
Okay. And would you be seeing more in, are there certain verticals or certain end markets where we might bump into you more? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is I think about anybody that's in the restaurant and food business.
Right.
Like you're there checking, validating experience, driving sort of post-experience text messages, that whole ecosystem. Is that a fair
restaurant
pedestrian representation that I'm giving?
Yeah. Restaurants, retailers, supermarket, convenience stores,
Okay.
Those kinds of businesses are big users of our service.
Great business.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. All right, so Brad and I are going to have a great time talking about customer experience because I think he's going to be able to teach us a lot. So if you're watching or listening and you don't want to miss any of the shows that SBI produces, to access our content library, if you're an iPhone user, all you have to do is download the SBI app via the Apple Store, search for Sales Benchmark Index, set up your notifications, and then we can keep you company as you commute, as you travel, or maybe your morning workout. Brad and I, in this final segment, we're going to talk about third-party perspectives about customer experience. So far, he and I have been discussing the relationship between the customer and a vendor supplier, internal capability. So now we're going to talk about third parties and helping companies understand this. So I guess if I'm watching and I say, I agree it's important, I think I've got some improvement to make, I need to get some analytics, I got to get the functions on board, and I sort of follow the sequence of our show. Now I say, how do third parties help me deliver a customer experience?
Well, obviously I'm biased.
Yeah, that's okay.
But
I think I'm biased too, because right now you haven't said anything I disagree with.
Great.
So
great. So in terms of third parties, this topic is customer experience is so popular. It's really hot, like you talked about before. And so a lot of organizations we see are starting to bring in their own internal teams. And in fact, we even see titles called Chief Experience Officer. So we're seeing companies get it and try to adopt their own teams. I think from our perspective, the challenge with that is, just like I probably wouldn't go into a court of law and try to represent myself, and we probably wouldn't try to, perform surgery on ourselves. Right. We have the same point of view about trying to run your own customer experience measurement program. There are a lot of firms that are available in the marketplace that would sell you the software to execute your own program, and you could write your own surveys and you could do your own collection, and there might be some analytics built into the technology. But by working in a kind of an insular, on your own fashion, You don't have the benefit of best practices from organizations that maybe have been doing it for a long time. And I think the other thing too is that and you asked about it at the top of the first segment is what kind of businesses do we work with? Believe it or not, there's tremendous value in me telling a restaurant organization what a petro convenience brand is doing. There's great value in me telling a retailer what a restaurant company is doing. And so having that ability to kind of talk across different industries, best practices, sharing, and the like is a value. And usually the investment with a third party like a Market Force is going to be less than had you gone and done everything on your own. And you run the risk of perhaps not having the best thinking because you've just got one myopic view of that experience in that brand.
Love it. Okay, so then is there a set of, I guess, best practices or sort of rules of the road that you see from third parties relative to like the types of actionable insight that they deliver back to customers, to folks?
Well, I think, a lot of times executives get in a room. You talked about the different functional areas. They all get in the room, and many times those executives have a lot of experience in their business.
Yep.
And so they come to the table with a lot of gut instincts and intuition, and they say, I've been doing this for so long, I know what the customer wants.
The curse of expertise.
Yeah. And what we see all the time, and in fact, it's interesting, sometimes we even surprise ourselves. When we let the data do the talking, when we take the operational measures, when we take the customer feedback, when we take what they're calling to complain about, and we let that flow into the analytics process and the modeling and tie that to financial performance, the insights that are derived from that process almost always surprise the executive team, but even sometimes surprise us and allows us to give them what we refer to as a strategic blueprint for investment. So here's the possible uplift in your business, here's the ROI that you can chase, and here's the area that you need to focus, and based on work we've done with other clients, the motion that you might want to drive for this particular initiative would be this. And we think based on the analytics, you can see this kind of return. And that allows all of the executives at the table to align behind a common goal because it's no one person's idea or focus. It's a data-driven outcome or a data-driven insight that everybody can rally behind.
This is fascinating. I could keep going. But I have to honor the time commitment here. So we often run into clients who they want to do a customer experience project, right? As you said, it's a hot thing. Last couple of years, it's like this way. So but it's project based. And there's always this thing where you go out, you build the journey maps, and you understand what customers want, what's digital, what's analog, human to human, where do you put resources? We've got this whole methodology. But then, it's not I don't have a home, I need to build a home, and now I'm done. It's, I need to play catch up, or maybe leapfrog and go where the puck is going, but you can't stop. So do you have a point of view on sort of ongoing iteration, ongoing evolution, not too much, but not too little? Like, what do you see from brands that are nailing this?
Yeah, so I think that's a great qualifier, brands that are nailing this. I think that's important. Any investment that a business makes in understanding their customers' expectations is a good investment, full stop. That said, there are some times where a company will sort of do a one-and-done initiative and say, hey, now we know what the customer wants, we're going to spend a bunch of time trying to drive to delivering against it. And that's not all bad. But the companies, like you said, that are nailing it, and there are many, by the way, they're very intentional about being very consistent. We're gonna measure, we're gonna see how we execute against, and then we're gonna sort of run through this whole gamut of effort, and we're gonna get to the end, and we're gonna say, okay, did we get the lift that we expected? And if there's some meaningful share of that ROI that was projected, then it's all about going back around and repeating it. And it's kind of like the shampoo bottle, right? You flip it over and the instructions are rinse and repeat. So it's all about marketing and promoting your brand, ensuring that you've got engaged staff in your organization on the front line, and making sure that, and with engaged staff, they'll delight customers. And those delighted customers do two things that are more impactful to your business. One, they're going to return more frequently, and two, they're going to refer you and recommend you to friends, family members, and colleagues. And when that happens consistently enough, the financial results come, and it's just a constant loop, because new things, as you optimize on some defects, you start to learn there's other opportunities. And some of our clients, candidly, we've got a few that have been working with us for over 10 years now, and we continue to raise the bar with them. So they've done a nice job of sort of raising their performance levels, and it's about identifying what else can they be working on and then continuing to rise expectations.
Man, Brad, you knocked it out of the park. So high impact, all three segments. So a big thank you to Brad for coming by the studio and sharing his wisdom relative to customer experience. As you could tell, I was taking notes, so there was some good learning going on, so hopefully you enjoyed it. It's always a gift to be able to spend time, and I appreciate your eyes and your ears. Brad, once again, thank you for your generosity and continued success to you and the Market Force team.
Likewise.
And for those of you out there, we wish you good luck as you try and make your number.
This has been the SBI Podcast. For more information on the studio, SBI's Executive Briefing Center, our team, or to schedule a workshop, please visit salesbenchmarkindex.com.